hard 2023.
2024?
Yeah, see how hard it is? I don't even know what year it is.
So far.
I know other people are experiencing the same.
Yeah.
So, it makes me, I guess a little not happier, that's not the right word, but a little consoled to know that you're not alone, I guess. A little encouraged. I think that we're going to have a brighter shout out next couple weeks. Taking kind of a sad turn the last couple weeks, but that's to be expected with all the things going on.
That's been like our life so far this year. We've suffered some really heavy blows, some really hard losses.
Indeed.
And I think the song really reflects on risk of overstating the obvious, the preciousness of our memories and those sweet moments that we carry with us that at some point we bear those memories alone.
At some point the memory and the person interchange, right? Because
you can't make any more memories
right,
with them.
The person becomes the memories and the influence that's been on your life.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's before the passing, like you move away. Or you grow up, and then a lot of that person becomes the memories to you and how you interact with their memories. It's weird that you can interact with somebody's memories. And I don't mean like in a conversational kind of way, but like
it's internal. Yeah.
Internally, like I'm going to do this to honor this person from my past or from my life, or I'm going to act this way because this is how the other person would have acted, or I want to do this thing for this person or with this person in mind. It's interesting that in some ways the person then becomes larger than life, because
Truly.
I think about some people that I passed that are close to me in my younger years, and in many ways I do things in honor of them and in remembrance of them much more now than when they were with me, even though I saw them much less at the time they were still alive.
It's like they take up a bigger space in your actions because of their memory.
Yeah. Memories are a powerful thing. And I think that music's a powerful thing too. Just even having the chance to play a song like this, as simple as it may be, is very therapeutic. It's very definitely puts you in touch and makes you think about the things that you need to think about.
It can be like incredibly uncomfortable too, because feelings are so personal, and you, even though you understand that other people can experience them very similarly and that we react similarly to specific stimulus, for instance, loss. It's really hard to just sit and feel your feelings, to give yourself permission to just be and feel your feelings.
We talk about like escaping, we talk about keeping busy, and we talk about got to do something, or I should do this, or I should do that, just to keep my mind off.
To keep it from bubbling to the surface and having to deal with it, yeah.
Anything that feels like we might cry or that might put us in a sad place, but I think that it's important to feel all the feelings.
It is, and loss is so hard to pinpoint too, because as we've lost people over the years, I think we put it really well when we said it's the loss of the ability to make new memories with them that we're mourning. Not just the void that they left, but the ability to keep creating new memories with them as you move forward. And wanting to call them and share things with them or write them and tell them about the new things that they're not there experiencing with you. And it's really difficult to not only put that into words, but to label the emotional content that surrounds that feeling other than loss. Loss is so broad, though. There's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot of layers, and there's a lot of I hate to say rankings of loss, but there's different degrees of loss and how it strikes you in the moment. There's unexpected loss, which to me seems to hit harder, but then there's
it's shocking.
There's also a more sorrowful, kind of painful loss of a drawn out loss, and there's the guilt that comes along with the drawn out loss. A lot of times. And I think it's to say that it's all the same would be a disservice to the depth of it. And
it's also your proximity to that person too, because if you were someone's main caregiver for years and years and you knew that their walk was terminal, regardless of if it's older age or disease or what, but you're their main caregiver, and you walk out the day in and day out with that person for those last days, however long that turns out to be, to know they're suffering and to want their release on their behalf, but then once they're gone, to have that guilt of having wanted that release. It's a double-edged thing, because you've seen them suffer.
Yeah. Of course, it's there's a depth to it, and there's a double-edgedness to it.
Well, then also with an abrupt loss, then you suffer shock.
Absolutely.
And then all the loss things, so you're still suffering shock. It's like it walks hand in hand with all the grieving.
And I think that sometimes with the suddenness there comes a lot of regret, because it is so sudden that you don't have time to really plan anything out, so you think of all the things that you could have done, maybe should have done,
or that you planned to do,
right?
And that you can't walk out with the person you plan to do it with.
It's tough. And we all find our people, and we find our family, and
whether it's born or chosen,
a family that's your friends or a family that's your blood, and it's like we choose to walk with these people, and the price of closeness is pain. Unfortunately, a lot of times, unless you're the first to go, which nobody hopes for that either. So, and then everybody else has caused pain. So it's
loss is difficult. It's a subject that's hard to speak on, because I'm getting emotional just talking about it, but I think that we need to have these conversations about loss, because it shouldn't be taboo to talk about our feelings, and it shouldn't be taboo to talk about death and loss and being the living ones left behind.
And I don't think that it's and I think as part of the sincerity, it's disingenuous to just pretend like the loss didn't happen and just kind of move on to life.
I'll say this, like in all this loss that we have had in the beginning of this year, I've noticed how uncomfortable people are with talking about it, and how they just want to move on to brighter feelings, but that also doesn't feel right either. And watching kind of like the awkwardness, because we've had such a interesting proximity to our recent losses that we've been able to observe a lot. And I'll say this, if you're walking with somebody who's grieving, don't stop saying the person's name that they lost. We don't want them to disappear from your heart. And if you stop saying their names, even if it's uncomfortable, that feels like another loss. Like you can't have that conversation with you anymore.
And I think that, you have to keep in mind that as hard as it is for you to process, that there's people out there that are having an even harder time that are closer than you know, unless, you know, in the exception of a few certain cases where they're, you know, you may be the closest person to that person in the past.
Yeah.
But if you're, you know, you're trying to comfort somebody or trying to be there for somebody, then you don't need to make it more awkward.
No, just keep showing up, and you can sit and just be.
Yeah. It's okay to not do anything. It's okay to just be there.
Just keep showing up, you know. Or sending the card, just saying, thinking of you because you did. Mm-hmm. You know, it's, or the email because it costs less than sending a card, but just saying, I'm thinking of you, or that phone call or text, you know, if you're not in close geographical proximity, because, you know, we have our traditions. We have our funerals or our wakes or our memorial services. And there's this big inundation of so much love and so many memories and everybody hugging and being and sharing food and all kinds of stuff. And then there's this vast void that just closes in on the people closest to the person that's gone. And it's in those weeks and months that follow that big inundation that the friends and the family are necessary. Mm-hmm. And to keep bringing up those precious memories, because it's a beautiful, bittersweet thing, the memories, because you know you can't make more, so it hurts. But you're so happy that you were able to make the ones to begin with.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that, you know, our friends out there, they're having the same problems.
Yeah.
They've lost people in the past days. You guys have lost people in the past month. You've lost people in the past year. And know that you're not alone. We're here with you, you know. We're all together.
Yeah.
In this voyage of life. Sometimes it's happier than others, you know, but we walk together because we're friends and we need to support each other.
Yeah. Get out there and make some precious memories.
Precious memories. What you want to talk about?
Maybe we just eat chocolate and sip tea today.
Don't do one this week.
No. We just invite everybody to just be. Mm-hmm. We don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.